Hi, did you know that the human microbiome, which consists of all different bacterial species in our gut, have been shown in multiple studies now to really have a major impact on our blood sugar stability and our metabolism? You see, gut bacteria really have the ability to produce metabolites, and these metabolites have an impact on different pathways called AMPK pathways, and our gut microbiome is really involved with processing fibers and foods we eat into things like short-chain fatty acids, which then bind to receptors called G-coupled proteins, which also turn on our switch for how we use calories for fuel and how much efficient our body is for using stored energy as we do activities. There's also pathways between the gut bacteria and how bile salts modulate things called FXR receptors, which control inflammation throughout our entire body. There was an interesting study that was done in mice initially, where they took lean mice and obese mice, and they checked their gut microbiomes, and they found that there was a different microbiome uniqueness to mice that were overweight and had patterns of diabetes compared to lean mice. And what they did in this study is they did a fecal transplant. They took fecal samples and did a fecal transplant from obese mice to lean mice, and these lean mice became obese without any change in calories. And then the same thing the other way around. They took lean mice, did a fecal transplant, and into overweight mice, and then these overweight mice became lean. And this was really a seminal study that really showed that the gut microbiome has major impacts on blood sugar stability and metabolism. Now, in 2012, there was a group of Scandinavian researchers which did the first human clinical trial. They took 9 human subjects and they conducted a fecal transplant to patients that had prediabetes from lean body donors. And within 6 weeks, all of their insulin receptor markers, insulin resistance markers, metabolic syndrome markers improved, and by 18 weeks, everything was back to normal. The study was repeated again in 2017 with 38 subjects, and they found the same thing. When they did fecal transplants from lean individuals to individuals that were pre-diabetic, within the first 6 weeks, they had dramatic changes in their blood sugar stability markers, but right around 18 weeks, all their levels came back. But these studies really show that the microbiome has a major impact in how we process and metabolize our fuel, our energy, and how we have proper blood sugar dysregulation. This could explain why we see patients that are on high amounts of antibiotics, and it's really hard to control their diabetes. And there may be factors besides calories that are really impacting the ability to stabilize blood sugar levels in complex patients. In the upcoming course from the Kharrazian Institute called Diabetes and Dysglycemia, Clinical Strategies and Treatment Applications, we're going to go over all this research and then talk about some clinical approaches of what's been published, how we can apply some concepts of improving microbiome physiology to really make a big difference on blood sugar stability. I hope to see you there. Thank you.